7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12. And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two, count them, two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
It's Rachel Maddow talking about Joy Reid, who lost her show on MSNBC. Let me be completely honest. So first of all, I'm in media. As you obviously know, you're listening to me on this great station, 95.5 WSB Atlanta's News and Talk. And for me, I don't like to see anybody ever lose a job. I don't care what industry they're in. I don't like to see people lose their job. I have a heart for people. I have a heart. When I see these stories of layoffs at corporations, I feel bad. When I see cutting government spending and federal workers being laid off, I feel bad. I completely understand what's happening on the corporate level or whatever level, but I feel bad. I'm human. I don't ever want to see anybody lose their job. I think it's bad, right? But I understand it's life, right? In media, especially, I don't like to see people lose their job because I'm in media. And at some point, it may or definitely will happen to me. At some point, someone's going to come along and say, hey, Shelley, your services are no longer needed. And particularly in radio and talk radio, it happens all the time. Whether it's fair or not fair, you can have that argument. People lose their jobs. It happens. But here's the thing about the Joy Reid situation and what Rachel Maddow said, which is completely ridiculous. Rachel Maddow gets $25 million, and she does a show. Well, she's doing the show for the first 100 days of Trump every day of every night. But she was doing it once a week. Many of these layoffs are happening not because people are necessarily bad, not good at their jobs, particularly the back room, right? The producers, the lighting people, the people that are losing their jobs at MSNBC right now, losing their jobs because MSNBC is cutting spending. Right? They're cutting back. Well, Rachel Maddow, give up some of your dollars. Like, it's one thing to go on TV and talk about, oh, we're losing. There are two. First of all, the fact that there are two African Americans at MSNBC in prime time, and African Americans only represent 13% of the population, means that MSNBC was already representing in prime time the African American community. They should be applauded for that. Now you're cutting them, but you're adding two. So you're cutting Joy Reid at 7 o'clock, but you're adding three people: Simone Sanders, African American female; Michael Steele, African American male; and another woman, a woman. So you're already overrepresenting the country in these demographics at 7 o'clock with your replacement. So it's nothing to do with race. Nothing. It has everything to do with performance and cutting back. But here's what I really want to point out, especially to my Democrat friends. MSNBC went above and beyond during the George Floyd stuff, what I would call racial reconciliation time in 2020. They went above and beyond. They put people on the weekends. They put people on in prime time. They put women, they put Hispanics, they put Muslims. MSNBC, by the talent on the MSNBC on the weekends and in prime time, especially with Morning Joe and all the different voices they have on Morning Joe, was a melting pot of American demographics. They went above and beyond. And at the time that they did it, every single Democrat, every single civil rights leader, every single person jumped up and down and said, look at MSNBC. Yay, they're our ally. Now, Years later, MSNBC is looking at their ratings decline. They're looking at their money that's going out the door and not coming in with advertising. They're looking at their non-audience growth. They're looking at the deterioration of audience, and they're saying, we've got to make cuts. We've got to adjust. It's a business. And now the same people that called MSNBC allies not 4 or 5 years ago are calling them racist. Now that's fair if that's the game that you want to play, play it. But let me tell you the long-term ramifications of playing this silly game of racism. Here's what happens. You're allowing children, your grandchildren, your children, to be raised in a world that when it comes time to be hired, companies are going to say, do I hire African-American Jane over Hispanic Julia? And the company says Jane has qualifications. Jane is a great hire. Julia is a great hire. And a company will say, you know what? But if I hire Jane and I have to let her go, or if I don't promote her, or if I tell a bad joke in the bathroom, or if I say something wrong on a Zoom call, she's going to call me a racist. If I hire Julia and she doesn't get promoted, she'll stay and keep working, or she'll leave. But I won't catch a lawsuit, and I won't be on media. I won't be out in social media being outed as a racist, even as I'm giving the opportunity. I'm saying this to my Democrat friends to let you understand. You're creating a world where white allies, people who want to support the effort, are saying to themselves, wow, I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. So I might as well not. And that's the world you're creating. For any African-American Democrat leader or any Democrat like Rachel Maddow, who you heard her say, that's my concern, that we're losing both African-American people of color in prime time. The concern for you should be that no one's ever going to go above and beyond again and hire those people because it's not worth the trouble. If I hire somebody and put them in prime time and I'm celebrated, but the numbers aren't there and I get rid of that person and I'm accused of being a racist, then why hire the person in the first place? I told you weeks ago, if white guilt were a gas tank, or a meter, a gas meter, your gas gauge in your car, if white guilt were a gas gauge, it is on E. The light is on. And if you continue down this road of blaming even your allies of being racist when they do something after they've already made the effort to do and give you what you've asked for. We need more voices. We need more representation in media. And they give you the more representation in media, and the numbers aren't there to back up continuing to be there. And they let those people go and hire different people who are African American, and you call them racist. They're never going to hire your children or your grandchildren because they're going to say it's not worth the trouble. Again, going for these short-term cosplay performative games is only hurting the future. It's silly. You cannot call an entire network of liberals who were on your side, whose every position is positive and beneficial to your cause. You cannot call them all of a sudden racist because they let go of one person. Especially you, Rachel Maddow, because you're sucking up $25 million in MSNBC money that could keep a bunch of people in their jobs if you would just give back $20 million. But no, you can't do that because you've got to stay with this illiterate, stupid, short-sighted narrative that the network that hired all of these minority faces and put them on television on the weekends in prime time, during the day, on specials programming, all of those people that did that, you're now saying that they're racist. And if I'm in charge, white, black, or it doesn't matter. If I'm in charge and someone did that to me, I'd say, you know what, my friend? I don't need to hire anybody anymore. I'll just hire the white guy, because a white guy, when I fire him, is just going to go find another job or go home and change careers. But he's certainly not going to call me out, call me a racist, and sue me. The Shelley Winter Show, 404-872-0750, 1-800 WSB Talk.